You know, one of my absolute favorite foods is pasta. My family is originally from Italy, so basically when I was growing up as a kid, I would eat pasta at least, like at the very least, once a day. Now, something my grandma always used to mention is she never understood like why people would go to a restaurant and eat pasta for $20, $30 when they could just eat it at home for just a few dollars. So today I wanted to settle the debate from my grandma and the one in my head and see which pasta was worth it. So the first place up is the second cheapest place, Pepe Rosso's to go. Hi, I just called for the penny basil, the bottom. Thanks so much, man. Have a good day. You know, a lot of people ask me why I eat outside in New York City a lot, even though it's cold out. Why I sit on the street corners, why I talk in the streets. Well, take a look at this view. The view of the Freedom Tower just in the street right next to Pepe Rosso on the go. Not a bad viewing point for your meal. Pasta looks pretty good, but it's probably most likely not a homemade pasta. It's more of a, you know, like grab and go kind of pasta. And the pasta sauce itself looks pretty homemade to me. It looks like it has like real chunks of tomato in there, but it's probably like in bulk. Like they probably make it in bulk because the price of this pasta comes at a very economical price of about $8. Now the Parmesan does come on the side. It's not freshly grated Parmesan whatsoever. It's from a can, but it still looks to be a pretty good pasta. Like that looks to be pretty delicious. I'm pretty excited to dive in. Okay, you know, if you take a look at the first bite, you know, it has the pasta, it has the tomato, it even has the Parmesan cheese on top. But, you know, I know this is gonna sound bad, but it's not cooked very well. This may sound funny to some of you guys that aren't like huge pasta consumers, but pasta, it's kind of difficult to make it in a good way. You know, if you cook it under the time, you're basically eating like kind of a rock. But if you cook it over, you're eating kind of a soggy mess. And one of the difficult things about, you know, running a kind of like pasta to go place is the pasta, it's just soaked in that sauce pretty much all day, yielding for, you know, soggy and overcooked pasta. I'm gonna be using a rating scale to make it easier for you guys to kind of see the best value that you're getting, and also for myself to solve this epidemic that we're having. So with that said, I'm gonna be rating on a 1 to 5 scale of 1 the pasta, 2 the sauce, and also the value of the pasta. So starting with the pasta itself, starting with the penne at Pepe Rosso to go, it was not made well. It might have been made well like at the start, at like when they took it out of the pot, but when it was put in the sauce, when it was just soaking in that sauce, it was just way overcooked. So with that in mind, I'm gonna have to give a 2 to the pasta. Sirens everywhere in New York City. Now the sauce itself, it was definitely a homemade sauce. There was nothing too special about it. It was just a basic tomato sauce, but it was pretty good. So with that said, I'm gonna give it a 3.5 for the sauce. Now for the value, this pasta came at the pretty cheap price of $8 per bowl. And also the portion size of that $8 pasta, it seemed like it was big enough to fill me up. So with the price and portion in mind and the taste too, I'm gonna probably go with about a 3 value. So really no hate on Pepe Rosso, just really not really my thing. Anyway, now let's go to a type of place that we've actually never been to on these food videos. Okay, so welcome to my next restaurant, my kitchen. You know, when I was growing up, like I said, my grandma, she really was like a stickler for going out to Italian restaurants. She was like, no, we are not getting $20 pasta, for 1 if we can make it, and for 2 if we can make it better. And of course, there's many pastas that are special to a restaurant and that they make very well there. But when you have Nana's secret sauce recipe, you can't do any better. So the pasta that I made here is just normal DiCecco linguine pasta, but where it gets super special is the sauce. You see, the sauce that I use is my Nana's recipe. When I was growing up, she only told a handful of people, so it's one of the most special things that I have in my arsenal of cooking. Now, I can't tell you guys everything that's in it, but what I can tell you is that there's hand-crushed tomatoes, secret seasonings, and of course garnished with freshly topped Parmesan. Honestly, there's nothing that reminds me more about my childhood, my hometown, my grandma's house than this pasta. Literally each and every ingredient in there is like for a reason, and it's just perfectly, it's just absolutely perfectly quantified. The balance is amazing. Now, in terms of the ratings of this pasta, the pasta itself was just from a normal, like everyday, like DiCecco bag. Now, DiCecco is one of the best brands that you can buy for pasta, so it's definitely got a good score. But at the end of the day, it's a warm-up pasta, and it's good, but it's nothing like crazily special. So for the pasta, I'm gonna give a slightly above average score of a 3.5. Now, in terms of this sauce, this is my childhood in a nutshell. Each and every ingredient is just like literally perfectly put in there. Like you can taste every single thing in there. So for the sauce, I'm gonna give a solid 4.5. Now, in terms of the value, this is where this pasta just like destroys all the other places we're going to today. The pasta itself costed like way less than anything that you can get in a restaurant. So the value is just honestly through the roof. It's something that I believe in. It's something that my grandma believes in. The value is a 5. Anyway, guys, I feel incredibly fortunate to know that recipe, to feel that in my heart, to feel that in my childhood. But now let's go into a place that's going to be our most expensive place of the day, but some people call it the best pasta they've ever had. Okay, so I'm here at Little Frankies, and I got their spaghetti limone. Basically, it's a homemade spaghetti pasta with lemon and a bunch of Parmesan just sprinkled on top. Something that's different about this pasta comparable to the other pastas that we've eaten today is that I'm pretty sure the first place, Pepe Rosso's, I'm pretty sure their pasta was just like a warm-up kind of like hard pasta. Of course, my pasta was, you know, that hard pasta that you just pop in and it's like an instant pasta. But this pasta took time. This pasta took effort. This is a homemade spaghetti pasta. This pasta just looks absolutely incredible, and I've hyped it up a little bit, I think a little bit more so than usual, so let's just dive into it. Wow, the first reaction I can say from that is that this pasta is a complete pasta. When you lift up for a bite, you just see everything like wound into that pasta. It has like the lemon flavor, but it's not too overbearing of a lemon flavor. And of course, that Parmesan cheese on top just makes all the difference and ties it in all together. Wow. Now, of course, this pasta is just overly delicious. It's wonderful. I totally understand the Yelp reviews, but how should we rate it? Now, as I was talking about the actual pasta itself, how it was just cooked out of this world, like perfectly. And that's really because it is a homemade pasta. You know, the pasta before this, it's not a homemade pasta, it's like a hard stick pasta. So this definitely had an advantage to that. So for the pasta, I'm definitely gonna go with the highest score of the day at a 4.5. Now, in terms of the sauce here, the lemon, the Parmesan, the butter, it was just, oh my gosh, it was so rich. You know, once in a while with Italian lemon sauces, for me, I'm not a huge lemon fan, so it kind of is a little bit too much. But with this, the lemon made sense, the Parmesan, the butter, everything factored together for an incredible sauce. So for the sauce, I'm also gonna give a 4.5. Now, the value. This pasta came at $16 a plate, and to be honest, like, the portion size, it's a pretty good portion size, but I think to be full, you would also need to order a salad or soup or just something a little bit extra. So it's not exactly a meal, and the pasta does come in, it comes at a pretty high cost. So even though the pasta was just incredibly delicious, even though the sauce was like out of this world good, even though I'm definitely gonna come back here at some point, for the value, I gotta give like an average of a 3. So which pasta won? I think it's really difficult to say which one is exactly the best of value. Of course, the best value was the one that you made at home and you just bought the pasta at the store. And for me, that is the one that you usually is, you know, the best value. But once in a while, sometimes when you're feeling like you wanna experience a flavor that's different, that's when, you know, you go to a place like Little Frankies. But anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed that cheap versus expensive pasta challenge. Let me know in the comment section below if I should do more of these cheap versus expensive challenges. I love doing these type of videos for you guys and also for myself to see, you know, where I should be spending my money and where I should be like, that's really not of value.